Hello everybody, welcome back. My name's Tholen and today we are going to talk about how to make Firmalite sheets. Firmalite sheets are made from the resource called Firmalite bars, and you get Firmalite bars from selling either maintenance drones or robots to the space station up in orbit, way up there. Okay, now in order to sell those bars to the station, you're going to have to use transport ships, and you can see I have a few flying around here. Now, in order to get the optimal location for this particular build, you're going to want to find the 00 mark. And I've marked that location right here via this block. So you can see in the top left corner, your XY coordinate is 00. Now that's important because all transport ships go to and from the station at that 00 mark. You can see one just arrived back from the station here. New ships will go to the station from that same mark. So in order to reduce travel time, it's important to build your factory as close to this 00 point as you can. And it's also a good idea to try and build this fairly high off the ground. You can see here I'm at elevation 241, and 241 works pretty well. You might be able to go a little higher, but 241 gives you a lot of space where you can build some fairly big buildings still without exceeding the height limit. Okay, so next let's look at the buildings which consume the Firmalite bars, and that's going to be the electric furnace. So let's configure this electric furnace here for consuming the Firmalite bars, and you can see it consumes 800 bars per minute and produces 10,000 liquid Firmalite per minute. Now that number actually works out fairly nice for producing or consuming 5 belts of bars. So one T3 belt is 640 per minute. If we have 5 of them, that gives us 3,200 per minute. If we divide that by 4 furnaces, that gives us our 800. Or probably more accurately, if we divide that by 800, that gives us 4 furnaces. So we need 4 furnaces in order to consume 5 belts of the Firmalite bars. Okay, so once we have the liquid Firmalite, we need to put that Firmalite into a caster. All liquids go in casters in order to make something out of them, some kind of sheet, and there we go. There's our Firmalite sheets. And we need, or it consumes 1,250 liquid of the Firmalite liquid per minute, and produces only 5 sheets per minute. So you're going to need a fairly large area. So make sure you plan accordingly if you ever want to get a reasonable amount of Firmalite sheets produced, because it actually takes a lot of the liquid just to produce a fairly small amount of the sheets. Okay, so if we have 4 electric furnaces over here, we said we had 4, that's 4 times 10,000. How many casters are we going to need? Well, we could bring out our calculator once again. So that's 40,000 divided by our 1250. We require 32 casters to consume all of the liquid produced by the 4 electric furnaces. Okay, so those are going to be important numbers to remember. So we'll get rid of those for now, and keep those in mind for when we're going to need them a little bit later. All right, so the next thing to understand is the output, or sorry, I should probably say how we're going to get the Firmalite bars from the station to our factory. And that's done what's called the station warehouse, a space station requester warehouse. So it's going to request, you can see here, we can request Firmalite bars from the warehouse. So we just click on select here, and you'll see right away we're going to get some ships, 4 exactly, in fact, are going to start going to the space station to collect Firmalite bars. So this tells us some pretty important information, right? Each trading ship can only hold 250 Firmalite bars, and the space station can, or sorry, not the space station, the warehouse can only hold 1,000 bars in total. That's why only 4 transport ships are going to the station, because 4 times 250 is 1,000. So you never get any more than 4 ships at a time going back and forth to the station to collect bars. This is going to be your throughput limiter. Doesn't matter how many more stations you add, or sorry, it doesn't matter how much you buffer or buffer the station, you'll never get any more transport ships at a time to deliver those bars. Okay, so before they deliver, let me just delete this. Oh, I think some delivered. All right, got them in the middle of delivery there. Okay, so this tells us some important information. Okay, one warehouse can really only produce one T3 belt of bars. Now it is a little more than that. Like for example here, I'm not going to figure it this time, so I don't actually pull down any bars from the station. If we have an output belt here, we could actually get one full T3 belt out of one warehouse. Doesn't matter how you buffer it. It doesn't matter if you put in storage. That's pretty much all you're going to get. Now you do get a little bit more. I think it's about 1.25, maybe 1.3. So you could do some more detailed investigations to see if you can how few warehouses you're going to need to get the 5 T3 belts that we're looking for. But I decided not to worry about that because you're going to need some strange balancers. You'll either need if you go with 3 warehouses, you're going to need a 3 to 5 balancer, and that's just going to be very, very awkward to do. It's much easier just to be guaranteed to get the one belt out of it from one warehouse. That 1-to-1 ratio works quite well. That also means you could probably move this a little bit off the 0-0 mark, like if you wanted to build it over here, and it would still work, because the further you go away from that 0-0 mark, the lower the throughput of the warehouse. So that's important to keep in mind as well. So we're going to get 1 belt out of 1 warehouse. So that means we're going to need 5 warehouses to get our 5 belts of bars. Okay. So let's put together a quick little plan about how we're going to lay these warehouses out. And let's follow our little marker here, our 0-point marker. And let's grab a warehouse. And we're going to try and get it as centered as we can. And bingo, we got it. Okay, good. So there's one warehouse where the panel is on. Doesn't really matter which side the panel is on. But we're just going to take note of that. And we're going to place another warehouse right beside this one. And we're going to just make sure the panels are facing each other. Just to make it a little bit easier to configure. We're going to leave 1 space there so we could get in between them. And we'll make sure the panels are also facing inward here as well. Okay. Okay, with that done, we should be able to get rid of our little marker here. And we're going to need 2 more. Let's make sure the panel is facing outward, and we're going to need to leave 2 spaces here away from the stations in the back, and note the orientations. Now we got the panel facing the front, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're just going to line it up. The ones in the back, leave 2 spaces between them, and we'll have that. And so now you have a configuration that looks like this. This is about as compact as you can get 5 stations, I believe, or pretty darn close to it, at least to do what we want to do. All right, so now we've got to get a belt of bars out of each of these. So in order to do that, let's do this. We're going to have 1 belt here as output. Okay. And we're going to have this coming out of it like so. Okay, and then we're going to have the one here in the middle. That's also an output. Coming out like so. And we're going to do that same thing over here on this guy. Coming out like so. Okay, we can extend these out like this. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. we will get a belt out of this guy. Like so. And a belt out of this guy. All right, and that gives us the 5 belts we're looking for. Okay. There we go, and that will give us the maximum amount of throughput. If we can consume all of these 5 belts, we're golden. Okay, and according to what our calculations told us earlier, we're going to need 4 furnaces in order to do that. So we can, we're going to do it like so. We're going to have the output facing inward for one, and then the output facing outward for the other. Actually, before I do that, let's make sure I configure this. Let's get it to Firmalite, like this, okay. And then we'll just flip this around. It's going to go the other way. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We'll have the first one will face inwards, but we want to have enough space here. If I could see properly. That, I think, is correct. And then outwards for the next one. All right, there we go. So all of these now should be configured for so that's outward, that's inwards. Okay, good. There, everything seems to be fine. All right, then we'll just extend our 5 belts in between all of these like so. Okay, now we just need to consume all of this. So we're just going to go 1 belt of input here, and consume that one, and we'll consume the next one here. And we could do the same thing on this side. Okay, and then we've got to get the second lane. 1, 2, 3. Oops, that should not be an output. That should be an input. All right, and also for the third belt, we will have to stagger this a little bit for the third belt. That's no problem. We have a lot of slots available to us here. All right, and there we go. So all those 5 belts are now connected to these 4 furnaces, and that should fully consume all those belts. So we can get rid of these extra here on the edge, just to know that's pretty much the end of the line. There's no more Firmalite bars being consumed anywhere else. That's as far as they go. Okay, and now we need to get the casters. There's a couple of different ways you can do the casters. So I'll show you a very simple way here. All right, let's make sure we get this right. Now there's a lot of room back here, so we could just tile these on like this. Let me just check to see what side the input and outputs are going to be on here. All right, perfect. So the output's on this side. That's what we want. So we're going to need, remember we need 32 in total, so we're going to have 1 over here. We'll have 1 over here. Okay, and then we'll have 1 here. And 1 over here. All right, so 32 divided by 4 is going to be 8, so each of these has to be 8 long. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Same thing here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Same thing here. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, so let's connect the pipes. So this one is being output here. So that should be easy enough. We're just going to take a pipe like so and go like that. And then all the connections are going to be here. This is the input, right? Yep. All right, and this guy is output on the other side. I'm going to do something similar here. Okay, so the pipes are connected for that one. Let's also do the other one over here. So where's the output? Is right here. Oops. Make sure this is the input side, which it is. Oh, we made a boo-boo here. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's make sure. Let's fix that. That's not lined up, which is, of course, a problem. Let's just quickly delete these. All right, we'll flip this around. All right, there we go. Okay, awesome. Make sure we do the same on the other side. Okay, the output is here this time. Oh, there. All right, there we go. So that gives us now, so we got a configuration that looks like this. Now all we need to do is just take the output from these. There's a number of different ways you can do this. We can put 2 belts. We could just do it. Let's do it real simple here. Now the output here is very little, as we discussed. Remember, is only 5 per minute. So 5 times 32 is actually 160. So this actually only, all 32 of these only produce 1 red belt of Firmalite sheets. So that's not a whole lot. So keep that in mind. So we can have output like this, and then output like this, and then output like this, output like this. Okay, and then we'll have to combine these. So let's just do it like this. Okay, we'll have to do the same thing over here. Collect all the output. Like so. And the other side. Okay, we'll combine these as well here. All right, then we can take the two outputs like so, and we'll bring them in the middle. All right, and that pretty much just gives us one red belt of Firmalite sheets. All right, so let's actually plug this in. This actually goes into our network. It connects to my main bus down below, which gets funneled into the whole system. That's another nice benefit of having this here above, right? So hopefully all we need to do now is turn this on and it should just start working. So let's see what happens. Configure for Firmalite bars. Now we should see these guys take off, and they are, to go collect some of the bars from the station. Configure for bars. Configure for bars. Configure for bars. So we should have now 4 times 5, so we should have 20 ships. There's a whole bunch of ships going up there to go collect some of the bars up on the station. So make sure you have bars on the station. Of course, this won't work. And I guess this is the first one we configured. Which is the first one that we're going to get some bars to? There they come. Now you notice they start bumping a little bit, so I don't know if that's going to cause too much of a problem. And I don't think it is. They seem to work themselves out. All right, then we're getting our first bars into the system. So once this guy gets enough, he'll turn on. And he has. He'll be sending into here, which will hopefully eventually get us enough into the rest. Let's keep an eye on the bars here as they come in. There's some coming in the back now. There we go. We got that one turning on. We've got 5 belts turning on. There we go. This one's turned on. That one's turned on. Ah, look at that. We're getting our first sheets coming off the line there. Once this one fills up, then this one will get. There we go. Just on cue. The second one now starting to fill, which should turn on the inner casters. And there we go. We're getting our first sheets being injected into the system. Yeah, now the inner ones are turning on. And if we design this correctly, and I believe we have, all these belts will be 100% consumed as long as we have the output being fully consumed. And all of these casters should be on all the time, assuming they're all connected. And I didn't miss any connections. Of course, we'll have to make sure all the buffers get filled up. There are a few buffers in each of these machines. So it might take a few minutes for everything to equalize. But there you have it. That's 160 Firmalite sheets per minute. A nice compact build. If you want, you can just duplicate this as many times as needed to get as many sheets as you want for your factory. All right. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Join me at Tholen1000 on Twitch. I'll be still playing this build for quite some time. Like and subscribe the video, and do what you do best. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later. Bye.